Nano Tech Show. It's November 22nd, Wednesday, and we'd like to welcome you all back to the show. For this next episode, we are going to be talking about artificial intelligence in programming and the use of it. Get your thoughts and the experts' thoughts on it. We have special guests tonight. We have Sairam Somanabowina from Bangalore. He works at Mudrex. He's a full stepper. You can check out his content on his LinkedIn page. It's absolutely great. So I'd love to hear what he has to say. Then we have Brajesh Singh from Infosys, which is a really big company in India. He's an expert SDET, software developer, engineering tester. And he's going to be talking about AI and his thoughts on that. Then we also have Fyodor Sazanavets from The Scientific Programmer. Absolutely brilliant guy. He's an author, prolific author, and can learn a lot of stuff just by going on his website. There's some great books. One's called The Battle-Hardened Developer. Excellent book. The Easiest Way to Be Another one, and many other books. He's going to be talking about career advice and his books, his latest books. So we're looking forward to that. But before we get started, I'd like to talk about my personal experience with AI stuff. It's so new. I've been experimenting a little bit. Some of you may have watched the previous episodes where I'm talking about where I put on some ads. And so I made those with AI. So one of the videos, I've been working on one platform called invideo.io, and it's a little retarded. So, it just takes a little bit of ingenuity, fooling around with it to get it to play, to do what you want. So after a while, I was able to come up with something which I thought was pretty good. And, but it wasn't just, you type in the prompts and it comes up with a really good product. You have to mess around. You got to use your brain. So it's not all there. And AI is so new, and it's not quite there yet, but it's getting there. And I think it's helpful. I think if you give it a chance, you can use it. You don't have to be afraid of it. You could just use it to get your kind of tasks that are done, and But it's going a lot places. People are excited. Maybe the hype is a little high in some areas, but I think it's helpful. So I'm just going to play you this ad that I put together real quick, and then when we get back, we'll go to our first guest.
Welcome to Gabriel Foley Associates, where we bridge the gap between potential and opportunity. We specialize in technology development, connecting talented individuals with industry-leading firms. Our finest experts bring you software development, web applications, security, and web architecture, and much more. No job is too small or too large. We are the catalyst which will fuel your company's success. With Gabriel Foley Associates, you will dive into the future. Your success is our mission. Call now 415-669-6500. 415-669-6500. That's 415-669-6500. Call now. You can also visit us on the web at gabrielfoley.com. Remember, your success is our...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Big Nano Tech Show. And we have on with us a very special guest from Bangalore. You know the song, From Bombay to Bangalore, everybody knows the score. If you want to live some more, howdy, howdy, howdy. Okay, we got Sairam Samaboina.
Hey,
Samaboina, did I say your name right?
that's very much right, Gabriel. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on. And Sairam is with Mudrex, And there's a lot of misinformation, by the way, out there. Not a lot, but there's a few kind of careless tech writers who mislead you a little bit about Mudrex, saying it's an automated cryptocurrency thing. And so maybe you can clear it up with us about what Mudrex does. I know it's kind of new, and but maybe you can explain a little bit.
So Mudrex provides a user option with crypto investment. So it's not trading. Major products, our major focus is into investment. So crypto you can trade coin by coin and in real time, but we offer unique products like coin sets, which is a basket of tokens with risk minimization. So it's like one token goes down, the other one will balance. So it's like a mutual funds for crypto. So Mudrex has this unique product called CoinSets, which is a mutual funds for crypto, which minimizes the risk. And we also have individual coins, but major advantage on Mudrex user would be having is the coin set, and also there is a fixed income, fixed return product called Vault, and yeah, many other investment opportunities around crypto.
Wonderful. And Sairam, you are the front end developer, lead front end developer, right? For that.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. And I've been to the website. It's really well done. And I have a couple other developers. We're talking about AI, and I wanted to kind of ask you, what are your thoughts on AI in terms of using it for developing and front end, or you're a full stack developer, so, or you just development in general, using it for any tasks or whatnot?
Definitely AI can work as a right now as a coding call, like what you have like pair coding, or you can like, it's like you can take help of AI and also come up with to and fro conversations. You can come up with a desired solution. Right now it's in assisting level. It can assist you, it can give you pointers. I think it is not yet in a way to replace an individual who is working on, let's say, front end or back end or something, any development in any engineering field. But I think soon it gonna be at some time, because maybe we might be feeding that data, that data points to AI without we knowing it. Let's say, for example, GitHub Copilot, and we are even developers are interacting with AI to get some pointers with some solution, right? That can again, it can work vice versa. It is giving you insights, then also in the other way it is also gaining insights from its perspective. So right now, yeah, we are just taking the help of an AI like chat GPT or many other things. But I think soon, with this cooperation, it might turn turn the other way around, but it's very far away, because an AI consciousness can't replace a human consciousness, where human consciousness is way much vibrant than an AI can ever be. It's a very long time going forward, but still there is a chance it might get there. Yeah.
Right. You mentioned exactly replacing, and there's different, how do you say, skill sets. Everyone has a different skill set. Not all developers are the same. Some are
Yeah.
in different positions. Some are more intelligent. Some are less. So sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. And AI is kind of taking everything, and
Yeah,
so
it takes everything. Yeah.
even the bad stuff.
Yes, it can learn from the bad folks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so something that's maybe, hey, that's not really a good idea. So then it gets integrated. And so you always have to kind of manipulate. But in terms of small tasks, I know there's,
Yeah.
PyTorch and TensorFlow and these different, I know Amazon has some AI services as well to kind of help. And I know, yeah, I find it that, it saves a lot of time in terms of, if you want to just sketch something up real quick, put
Yeah,
something
it's definitely better than a search engine, which gives you a curated response, not just pointing at others' articles. It's like a pinpoint response which gives you for your question. up to a mark. Yeah, definitely better than search engines which provide vague links, sometimes relevant, sometimes irrelevant.
Right, right. So yeah, in terms of that. Now, the other day, well, maybe we can transition a little bit into because we had another developer do a live coding session on Fresh.js. What are your thoughts of this alternative Nano to Node.js? Is it just another? Is it anything that's useful or?
I have no practical experience on it. I think it's the same person who come up with Node. He has come up with this Nano, which is like the invert node. Like the same letters in Node are like written in reverse. I
Yeah.
think he might be having some point to make with this Nano. Definitely, I didn't get a chance to work on it, but it's definitely worth taking a look at. And in an existing Node.js or any JavaScript developer shouldn't be having any challenges in exploring this Deno. And I think it's not even a new thing. I think it's been over close to some, I think 3 years, I guess.
Brand new.
Yeah, brand new. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like it's not very recent, not 1 year old. It would have been like at least 2 3 years old.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like it's got to be out there for at least like 3 or 4 or 5 years before it's like something that's
Yeah.
brand new that came out last week is not going to catch on right away.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
So that's wonderful. Yeah, I like your page. Your picture out there makes you look like you're a wizard, and
Yeah.
and your content is definitely just as good as your picture. So I recommend people checking out your content too, because you got the latest relevant. So what's new on your page that might be coming up?
Yeah, a lot of related to engineering in front end and general learning process in the engineering field, software engineering field, and a few of my personal experiences and stories of others who are willing to share any workplace horrors or any good stories, any hard work stories, which I know I'm trying to curate and present to the audience. And yeah, anything which is useful to the engineering folks, yeah, it would definitely be on my page. Yeah, every
Yeah.
now and then.
The other day, was it yesterday? You said, was it your cousin or your nephew who you gave some advice to about learning
Yeah,
React? I can't remember.
yeah. So I have like a confession to make. Sometimes I just take let's say I mentioned React, and like I'll try to put a focus in a post. Here I mentioned React, but what I actually meant there was to anyone who is aspiring to get a job has to focus on one path at least, because right now there are n number of paths where an individual or even especially students or freshers or folks who are in their early stage of their career, they are coming across different development or development paths like data science, machine learning, front end, back end, many other DevOps. So people are getting unfocused, and they're kind of hopping on different paths, and finally they're ending up nowhere. So anyone should focus on first thing first, like on their let's say a core path which they'll be good at for a long term. They have to focus on that first and master on that. I think it would take at least 4 5 years to get good at anything in any path, like front end or back end or anything. Then after that they can explore any other path as an add-on learning, as a side project, machine learning or anything. So they until anyone getting good at their core path, they shouldn't be thinking of anything else. They should first focus on one core path, be a master in that. Then you can look at upgrading or looking at other skills. But yeah, you should focus focus is very important right now.
So what you mentioned React. So what
Yeah.
would you recommend learning first React or Angular or both? What's your there? You know, Angular is a little bit more, I guess, versatile, maybe. Or what are your thoughts?
So I have suggested React because React is very easier to learn. Anyway, I believe in a notion that you will learn only one language. Like let's say an object oriented language, you will learn Java. Let's say a scripting language, you learn either Python or JavaScript. Then let's say if you have learned JavaScript, when you're learning Python, so both are scripting languages, you will just correlate what's how you declare an array in JavaScript and how you declare Python in JavaScript. So you will actually learn Java or JavaScript. Any other thing which you're learning on top of it, you'll just try to correlate how this works in this and that. Similarly, when you learn one framework or library, the next one you are learning, whichever maybe, you will be just correlating, and it's very easier to the learning curve will become very easier when you good with one library first, then going for other library. The learning curve will be much smoother than going on to that library first.
Right,
So, and again, React is very popular and it has very much support. Once you learn even React or Vue or Angular also, if suppose whatever path you choose, you learn only one particular framework. The other one would be just correlating how is this here, how is that over there.
right. Yeah, because you know what you can easily if you learn React, you can easily jump into Angular.
Yeah, since
Uh,
you will be completing the entire cycle in the front end application development,
right,
yeah,
right.
build tooling, navigation, everything, you'll just correlate the same thing in other framework. It could be anything else.
Right. I'm kind of a React guy myself. I didn't really get into Angular too much because I just got so used to doing it in one particular
Yeah,
setting.
you didn't get it like you. Yeah, obviously when someone is into React, they hardly get into anything else. Like even, yeah, there is a huge demand for React already.
Yeah. Do you see that going anywhere? That developing, it's just getting better, or you know, sometimes things go up and down.
I think React is pretty much going stable. I think, yeah, no complaints around it. They're, I think, improving on very regular. Their updates are in very regular cycle, and I think past 4 5 years they're doing pretty good job at updating that React library.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are no major path breaking changes which can alter any developer life.
Right. Now, what are your thoughts on like Material UI and these kind of things? They're helpful, you know, or do you is it better to write your own stuff?
Yeah, all this CSS, what you call them, CSS libraries, or I'm not sure. I'm not getting the right word over there. They are just like a Kickstarter. It will set up basic CSS and basic set of style classes which you can initially start using them. It would make it would help us in stick into a certain uh, paradigm of styling and build on top of it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I find them really. There's so much out there too. You know, you get into one and then you're like, oh, there's those other guys. Yeah,
So it will be like styling will be uniform, and yeah, it would be like we'll be adapting a certain styling, let's say a style guide which comes along with this CSS
right.
uh, libraries. Yeah.
All right. So we're just getting close to 15 minutes, and we got some other guests to fill up the hour. So, but I'd love to get you back on here next week or whenever you have time. And thank you so much, Sairam, for
Sure.
being on the
Thank you,
show.
Gabriel. Thank you for having me on the air. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Sure.
Singh. He's in the foothills of the Himalayas, and he's going to be talking about artificial intelligence integration in testing. He's a professional tester. So welcome to the show, Brajesh, and maybe you can give us a little bit of background of what you do, and get right into it.
First of all, thank you for inviting me to your show. So let me just talk about something about myself. So my name is Brijesh, and I've been working as a software tester from past 2 years. So currently, I'm providing my services to the Infosys Limited, and it is one of the biggest workforce in the India that is providing the IT services to the clients. So I've been working there from the past 2 years, and basically I'm involved in the testing and testing the web applications and testing the software applications. And apart from this, I'm having a keen interest in AI and the emerging technologies, how AI is changing the world. So this is a small introduction about me.
Oh, beautiful, wonderful. Yeah, I'm really interested in AI because it's so new. I mean, it's been around, but just in the past few years, it's really taken off. And I'm in San
Exactly.
Francisco, and I see all these billboards everywhere, and all these, developers are really getting to it and using it, not just for what kind of the mainstream people kind of think it is, but actually using it in the development of applications and software, which I think maybe if you don't understand development, then you might not know. So that's why I have you on to talk about how is AI used in back end, front end, and testing, especially testing. I know it's a
Yeah.
difficult and it's kind of a different ball game for testing too, because you develop it and then a tester comes along to see, hey, does this really work? So yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah. So as we all know, AI is from the past 4 to 5 years since the Chat GPT has been evolving. So it is more into you can say into the network right now. So what it is going on, previously the developers, okay, like if it is a front end developer or if it is a back end developer, so they have to write the code and everything, right? So now with the help of AI or machine learning or natural language processing, NLP it is called. So what developers are doing, okay, they are taking the help from the AI model. Okay, these are the generative models. So how it is helping them? They are just giving the prompt, as in what is your question? Suppose I want to develop a website, so you just need to specify the commands over to the generative model. You want this website, you need these commands. Okay, so the generative model will analyze your prompt, okay, and accordingly it will generate that website and it will write a code for you also. Okay, this is how where previously it was taking 10 to 12 hours, okay, for developing a simple website also. If you're talking about the portfolio, okay, if I want to make my own portfolio, it will take around 1 or 2 days, okay. But with the help of AI, okay, if I'm using any AI tool, okay, so it will just take 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that, and you can edit those codes also. So you can say those who are not having the knowledge of coding also, they can also develop these websites. Okay, and apart from this, as I'm into the testing field, okay, so I'm more into the evolving testing. So we are also using some kind of AI help, the bots we are using to check whether the test cases has been correct or not. Okay, so it gives us a detailed inspection, how a normal human force, okay, when we were doing the test cases, it took 3-4 hours, okay, to check whether the test cases has been passed or failed. So with the help of AI, what we are doing right now is once that bot has been created, so it will just give us a within 1 or 2 minutes, yeah, these test cases has been failed, these test cases has been passed. So it will give a detailed more overview, it is making a work very much simpler, you can say.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, and are you using any specific AI tools? I don't know, like TensorFlow, or I think there's another one called Monkey Bird. Any kind of specific one that you can throw out there for developers who might not know? Or
Uh, Yeah. See, we are not specific to like we are specifically using these tools because I'm providing services to Info, so I cannot declare like we are using these tools. So it will be a, like a bad impression for me. So
Oh,
yeah, we are using some tools, okay, which has been developed by like some of the like very famous companies. Okay, we are just using their tool for service, like if we need any kind of help, just to make our work simpler. And apart from this, if you say like apart from my services, so if I want to develop any website or anything, okay, so I'm using some kinds of tool, like there are plenty of tools in the market, okay. Like there's a 10x web also is there, okay. It just makes a website within like 5 or 10 minutes. And apart from this, like I'm using a Photoshop also, okay, sometimes like for my regular work. So in Photoshop also, like there's an AI tool, like AI has been like came into that software. So like if you just provide your picture over there, it will just you just need to provide what all the things you need to do in this picture. It will add the backgrounds, it will make it like that way. Okay, so this is how like I'm using the technologies as of nowadays for like for my some helpful uses. Yeah.
right. Yeah. I know there's a company that I find a little bit like I love Adobe Photoshop, and don't get me wrong, I'm a diehard
Yeah.
fan. But at the
Great.
same time, the way they have it set up is you have to download the whole half the program in your computer, and then half is in the cloud, and then it takes up all your space, and then you after a while you get bogged down. And so there's another company I like to use that's not as detailed. You can't do all the great stuff, but if you just need something simple, it's Canva, and so they use a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of AI.
exactly. Mhm.
So there's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
out there.
Yeah, exactly. The Canva is also like nowadays it is using the AI model. So if I'm using anything like if I want to create any post or anything, okay, so I just have to write the like I want a post for this my LinkedIn, okay, so it will just create me like detailed post, and with like images will be, it will be like someone has made for you. Okay, you don't have to waste the time like searching the images or anything from the whole like bunch of Canva like workspace. Just need to provide the details, it will give you a detail like in 1 or 2 minutes. So that's a fantastic thing, okay, like how technology is evolving nowadays.
Right. Exactly. And specifically when you're testing, can you talk a little about like, is there any scenarios where you have to because you as a tester, do you have to kind of be in the mind of the user, right? And are there any specific scenarios where you had to be a little creative? Oh, this person is doing some weird behavior, and anything like that.
Yeah, sure. The very first thing is like, when you are testing, okay, so you need to understand like, what type of testing you are doing. And once we have understood that thing, okay, so mostly nowadays what we are doing is, okay, 80% of the test cases we are writing from our home. Okay, we are using our mind. But like, the 20% that is, I will give a credit to the AI, okay, AI and the machine learning, because we are having some kinds of bot that has been developed in house only. Okay, so we just need to provide like I need to write a test case for this particular scenario, like suppose for the test case is for the login page. Okay, suppose if I'm testing any login page on the web application, so I just need to provide a prompt that I need to test the login page for this particular URL. Okay, so what that bot will do, it will provide you a detailed test case. Okay, whatever we are typing, okay, with the like human workforce, okay, the same thing it will provide us. Okay, and it will be a working one. Okay, if you just test, if you just run that case also, it will run. Okay, just the thing is like you need to make some changes, because like AI model is not 100% you can say correct. Okay, because at the back end someone has to be there to like correct whether the prompt whatever the AI is generating, whether it is correct or not. Because if you are just pushing the codes like whatever the AI has generated, okay, it can provide some defect or it can provide some bug to the like in the future. So what we are doing is 80% we are writing the test cases, but 20% we are generating from the AI models. Okay, and we are at the back end also we are testing the same things like whether it is correct or not. So this is how we are doing nowadays.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so, do you find that the AI will get these? tools will become more and more effective as they learn in machine learning? Do you find it going somewhere? Like you said, maybe you're doing 80% and 20% AI, but will that increase more like 30% or 40% or?
Yeah, exactly, because like when the time increases, like slowly with the increasing time, okay, obviously these generating models will like enhance their like efficiency, because the best example is like when the chat gpt released, okay, it was having the knowledge till September 2021. Okay, whatever the knowledge, like whatever the questions you are asking, it will just tell you till September 2021. Before that it will tell you. But nowadays, like the new release, that is the GPT-4, whatever they have released, okay, if you ask the latest event that is going on, okay, any news or anything, it will tell you. It's why it is happening. It's because like they have trained that model into a new way. Okay, so you can say like in the coming like next 5 to 10 years, yeah, obviously the man force will be reducing, but we can say like AI will take place, okay, in the testing, but it's not 100% it will take place. Okay, obviously someone has to be there to verify the test cases, verify the work that has been done by the AI. Yeah, obviously it will be increasing from my end.
Right. And I find that specifically AI, I mean, because the thing is, our behaviors change too, and sometimes what's right and correct today may be not applicable tomorrow. So there's always this human sort of intervention, you know. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what is your take on that? I mean, some people say, "Oh, AI will take over everything and no more humans," you know.
See, yeah, I know. Actually, yeah, I've also heard about like AI is going to take the like jobs of every like person, but it's not specific to a single domain. Okay, we can say like yeah, some domains it can take like the content creating. Okay, like someone who is writing the articles. Okay, he's doing a lot of research and he is writing an article. Okay, it takes like 4 to 5 hours for writing a very good article to like some news agencies or anything. Okay, but with the help of AI or these latest tool, okay, it is like within a second it is generating the prompts and everything. Yeah, those fields it can replace the job. Okay, but for the software development and for the software testing, okay, it will not be 100% like changes. Somewhere it will be like 50 to 60%. Yeah, it can take the AI can take the job, but yeah, someone will be there in the back end to verify the things. That is the thing, because AI cannot be like 100% correct. That is whatever the experience that I've gained. Okay, so as per my experience I can say like AI cannot be 100%. Somewhere there will be a defects or some kind of bugs will be there, and for those bugs people has to sit at the back end to test the things whether the things are going correctly or not. So this is my take.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I mean, the idea that all these codes and all this originated from the mind and the human, you know. So, and also the evolution or de-evolution. Sometimes we go forward, but sometimes we make mistakes, and then AI may pick that mistake up as truth, and then we go back and we realize, oh, that's not good. That's not correct, you know. And what is truth sort of today may be changing, you know, tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Like people are mostly like relying on this AI model, like whatever the information the AI is giving, they are thinking like yeah, it is 100% correct. Okay, I'm not talking about only about software development or software testing. It's about all the fields. Okay, all the people who are using the AI models. Okay, they just think like whatever the information they are providing, it is correct, and they just like use it. But it's not like you just need to go through whatever the content has been generated. Okay, then only you can say yeah, it is correct, and yeah, there is some kind of bugs. Okay, then only we can verify. But don't go like blind minded. Don't go like blind minded trust on the AI. Okay, that is the thing, because AI has also been trained by like the humans only. It's not like it came from somewhere on other universe or anything. It has been created by the humans only, and obviously there will be some errors or something. But as the time passes, okay, as the time will go, okay, from next to 10 to 15 years or whenever it is, okay, obviously these models will be like, more efficient, more correct, okay, efficiency will increase. Currently their efficiency is low. I cannot say like, it will be 30 or 40%, but yeah, efficiency nowadays also like, 80 to 90% it is, okay. But as the time moves, okay, these efficiency will increase, okay, 98% it can go, okay, somewhere it can go to 99% also, okay. But there will be a small minute 0.0 somewhere, it will be a defect. That is the thing.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that AI is a good thing in a lot of senses because you can focus on the bigger picture in a lot of cases where you're not so bogged down by the little details that are not that important. And like if you need a framework, say you need a quick framework built out, and then you can have that, and then you can figure out how it goes. And you can use AI for those things that take so long. Like you said, maybe a week, but you could do it in 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, if a person is doing his work in 10 to 12 hours, okay, obviously with the AI, okay, he has to spend some time, okay. It's not like within 1 or 2 minutes it will generate. Obviously, he has to try, the trial and error methods he has to do with the AI, like, whether whatever I'm expecting, whatever is my expectation, okay. So that thing is AI is providing or not. So he need to do some trials and error. Then only like, after some kind of like, experience, then only he can get those outputs from the AI. Okay, even though like, you just if I give you just an example, okay, after the show, okay, just go to the chat GPT and just write a simple prompt, okay, create a portfolio for my talk show, okay, it will create a talk show, okay, portfolio for you. It will generate a code also, okay. But it when you run that code, okay, it will be a simple plain website. But how to create a dynamic website and all those things, okay, that is a main that is a main problem. Because if I'm a developer, if I'm a tester, okay, I know what are all the commands that I need to give, okay, to create a dynamic website, okay. So I need to train that AI model according to my command, okay. It's not like if you are going in the first go, it will give you a website. No, it's not like that, okay. You need to train the model according to your needs, okay. That is it.
Right. That makes sense. And so anyway, that's so wonderful. So we're at 17 minutes, and I've got some other guests to go to, but I
Okay,
thank
sure.
you so much for spending the time.
Thank you.
I know you got valuable time over there, and I'd love to visit the Himalayas because I heard it's a wonderful place.
Yeah, sure.
And so
Yeah,
maybe I'll talk to you about my vacation next.
yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you
sure.
so much, Chris.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
we'll be sure to
thank you for
invite you again.
inviting.
Foley Associates. This staffing firm is a spotlight illuminating paths for your company and developers alike. On our ship, you'll traverse the tech universe at blistering speed, experience the clash of human ingenuity and robotic proficiency, triumph over obstacles not with arms but through code. At the end, you stand triumphant in innovation's dawn. Gabriel Foley Associates is where your tech dreams take flight. So call us now at 415-669-6500.
With us today from London, England, and he's going to talk about his courses and his latest books. He's an expert developer and teacher and mentor. I can't say enough about him. I followed him a lot on LinkedIn, and we'll beam him in right here. His name is Fyodor Sazanavets. Welcome to the show. And if you could tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're an amazing coder and a mentor, and you've been around a long time. So give us a little intro.
I'm really happy to be here. So thank you for inviting me on the show. My name is Fyodor Sazanavets. I'm a senior software engineer, but I also do quite a lot of things on the side because I'm really passionate about teaching others how to program and how to improve their careers as software engineers. So since about 2018, I've been actively producing a lot of content online, starting with Udemy courses and my own personal blog. Then eventually I got contacted by some publishers and started writing books. During that process, I also discovered about a platform called LeanPub, which allowed me to self-publish some more books. And I've been just going since then.
Oh, sweet, nice, beautiful. So, and you have a lot of experience in C# and the .NET network. 7.0. You have a bunch of books out, I noticed, and great information for people just starting out or maybe switching paths in the development world. You have this book called The Easiest Way to Become a Developer, which I think is really excellent. A lot of people that'll be watching the show. That's why I wanted to develop actually this show, is to bring new developers on board to showcase their skills, and also to bring people like yourself, experts, to kind of help them in career advice. And because it's a little bit of a difficult journey starting out. You learn a language, or you might go to a boot camp, but then sort of you can get lost. There are so many different things available, like on YouTube, different web applications that projects that you might do. So can you give us a little advice in starting out, like for instance, maybe what language to start out in and how to kind of navigate?
Right. So you're absolutely right that there's way too much information on YouTube, not only on YouTube, but on the internet in general. And perhaps the biggest obstacle for myself when I started out was just analysis paralysis. You kind of know all this information is out there, but you can't yet distinguish between good and bad information. There's nobody there to help you. And that is perhaps the biggest challenge to overcome. I myself come from self-taught software development background, even though I've built a successful career as a software engineer. I do have a degree, but my degree was in biology, and then I got master's in environmental informatics. But eventually I became a software developer because that particular career choice just was not paying well. And by that, I mean a job that required a master's degree was paying as little as a warehouse operator job in my local area. It's just bad. Regarding starting out, what language to learn? I always advise people to first check the vacancies in their local area that are available to them. The way I got into C# and .NET was because it seemed that there were most vacancies available around London area in those specific languages, especially around enterprise applications. And then I stuck with it, and I kind of started teaching people how to do it as well. That's what brought me into that particular language, because I was thinking about learning Java or some other languages at the time. But if you are not sure what to start with, I would recommend a language like Python or maybe Go, because those languages don't have as many keywords. Python is notorious for being easy to learn. This is why data science teams choose Python. It's not because it's good for data science, but it's because it's easy to learn. That's the reason, because any programming language is as good for data science as any other programming language. A lot of people recommend to start with languages like C or C++. I would advise against it, unless you are specifically looking to work in the areas that require those languages. The reason for that is because those languages are medium-level languages. So with programming languages, you have levels of abstraction. The lowest level of abstraction is something like assembly, which is a bunch of CPU instructions. It's completely unreadable. You have to be an expert. You have to know how CPU works to be able to use it. Then there's a medium level of abstraction. Those are the languages like C, C++, and Rust. It's much more readable. You can understand the code, but you still have to manage a lot of things yourself. You have to release memory yourself. You have to use pointers. There are a lot of complicated concepts. And then there are higher level of abstractions like Python, C#, Java, and so on. So to a beginner, I would recommend to start out with a high-level language like Python. Python in particular because it's easy to learn, as I mentioned already. Yeah, back to that point where a lot of people say that you should start with C or C++. A lot of people believe that because those languages are hard, once you learn that, any other language is going to be easy to learn. I found it from my own experience and from experience teaching others not to be the case. Because the thing that is more likely to happen if you try as a beginner to learn C or C++, if you don't know anything about computers yet, is that you'll just give up because it's too hard. The thing is, what I found is that even if you choose a high-level language as your first language, any second language will be easier to learn anyway.
Right. Now, what do you think about boot camps? Because there's some controversy. Some people say some are good, some are bad. Some people say, oh, don't do it. It's just a waste of time. You can go learn everything online. I know I myself liked learning by myself, and I didn't have a problem with it. I did want to do a boot camp, but what's your opinion on it? I mean, are there good ones? Should we just go online or YouTube and do projects and read books like yourself that you're writing, or what's your take?
So in my case, I have pretty much learned almost everything myself and by having to solve problems during a real job. I started out, I was kind of lucky because my initial job after university, which was about environmental informatics and not about programming, that particular company had a software development team, and I started to volunteer to help that team. And this is how I started to learn how to program. So in a way, I was kind of forced to learn that. I had a problem in front of me that I needed to solve. So self-learning works the best if you have a particular goal in mind and a particular problem to solve. Boot camps are great in theory. I really like the concept. The concept works if it's designed correctly. Because in a boot camp, you have this instructor that basically forces you to spend all your time to learn as quickly as possible. So essentially, bootcamp creates that problem for you that you are forced to solve. The main controversy around bootcamps is that there isn't any accepted standard for them, which means that anybody can call themselves a bootcamp, and you don't know until you read some customer reviews, or if you speak to your friends who completed a couple of boot camps. So I would probably say that boot camp is a good idea, but make sure that you apply for a reputable boot camp.
Right. Yeah, there's so many out there promising you the job. I know a lot. They're like, yeah, it's going to be, $10,000, $25,000, and you don't have to pay now, but you can pay later. And then, at the end, I heard a lot of people, they kind of get stuck. And then there's, because they don't maybe get a job right away until after 6 months, which, it could be okay, but you got to do your homework, I would say, right?
Yeah.
So now, then your latest book, is that the one on Signal R, or the design patterns? Let's talk about a little bit about design patterns, because I know there's so many different ways to write code, and you can kind of make it too complicated or not, or maybe speak on that.
So the design patterns is the concept that is applicable specifically to object-oriented programming. But by the way, I can hear the background noise.
I can hear it a little. For me, it's not too bad.
Right. Okay. Because there's a construction going on.
Okay.
Anyway, back to design patterns. The design patterns is a concept from object-oriented programming. Design patterns provide templates for solving specific types of problems, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So if you see a particular problem type, you already kind of know a template for the solution of it, which means that your solution will be quicker And also people who know design patterns will recognize that this is what you're trying to do here. The reason I wrote that book is because I had to learn design patterns, and I found them really, really hard to learn the way they're commonly presented. I've got nothing against the original book on design patterns written by the so-called Gang of Four, but it's very, very, very hard to understand that particular book. There are some websites that make it easier for you to learn design patterns, but they still kind of, they don't make it trivial either. And I thought that the reason for that is because you are kind of presented with the code samples of each design pattern. And if you haven't used it before, you won't understand what's going on. You just see that the code is overcomplicated. This is not how learning in human brain works, because learning is not about memorization. Learning is about association. So you are basically attaching new information to some information that you already know. And I thought that a much more efficient way of teaching people design patterns is to present them with the problem first. Describe the problem. This is something that they will understand because they either encountered similar kind of problems during the actual programming work, or at least they will be able to comprehend. They will be able to imagine what this problem is like. Then you kind of outline what design pattern can solve that problem and briefly describe how. And only then you present with the code samples. This way, the person who knows what this design pattern is for will understand why it's structured in such a way.
Nice. And I find this will probably be very beneficial for the coding interview, is that right?
Absolutely, yes. So the biggest reason for me to start learning design patterns when I was just starting out was a failure of an interview. Because the interviewer expected me to provide a solution by using design patterns, and I couldn't. And this is why I started to learn them.
Yeah, that's the main thing is like, you know, you learn this code and you learn, oh, I can code and I can do this project. And then, oh, I'm excited. I got like 6, 7 different projects. And then you're like, okay, ready for the code interview? And you're like, yeah, let's start learning leak code now, right? And then, you know, and then you're kind of, stuck. So I think this is wonderful that you could design patterns, you learn the design patterns and you do it over and over again, you recognize it because it's kind of completely different. Am I not right? It's like, you know, different than, and of course it'll help to know the design patterns, but the interviews I feel is a completely different ballgame than the actual work.
Yeah, well, it depends. A lot of people complain that interviews are unrealistic. Those interviews that are unrealistic primarily happen in companies like Google, Amazon, and so on. There is a reason why they do lead code style interviews. And a lot of other companies, sometimes they do lead code style interviews as well, but they don't understand why companies like Amazon and Google do them. So it's kind of a cargo code. But for smaller companies, more and more companies are starting to understand this, that it's much better to do some kind of a realistic interview. So, for example, at the company where I'm currently working, Empower, we present a candidate with a solution that has been badly written on purpose. And it's a simplified version of a realistic application. And we ask the candidate to refactor it. With those kind of interviews, sometimes you have to use things like design patterns, apply solid principles, and show your knowledge of other best practices as well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely great on your skills. I mean, I've met some coders who, you know, I'm okay at CSS and I can get around, but then I run into somebody who's just like a wizard and you're like, oh, how did you do that in like 10 seconds? But it took me like 15 minutes, you know, it's like, so it's just, you know, some people are just more skilled at code or just doing it over and over again. And then, you know, and then you might find your niche somewhere else, you know? So there's so many different ways of doing, you know, like you said, there's so many different ways of doing, you know, different, handling different scenarios, right?
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming on the show with us. We're almost at 15 minutes, so I got some other guests I got to get to. But so your website is program. What's your website again?
Scientificprogrammer.net. Scientific programmer is one word.
Okay, scientificprogrammer.net. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, go check his website out. It's really great information if you're just getting started, or if you want to fine tune your skills or bring it up to the next level. And you provide coaching, am I not right?
I provide mentorship, yes, one-on-one mentorship.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Fyodor, and we really appreciate you coming on the show, and we next time.
Yes, happy to be here. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Insert clips of shock. Each frame, 2 seconds pause. There's an error. I apologize. I was not supposed to say that. Are you sure you want this? Underscore error. Stop error inserting people in shock. Images, searching. Wait, are you sure, sir, that you want these images? Underscore. Pause. No. More pause. Pause. Okay, now, the big nanotech show every Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in to the Big Nano Tech Show. We are going to be back next Wednesday, November 29th at 3 p.m., 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I hope you guys can make it, because I'm going to be there, and I hope to see you there. And thank you so much. This is Gabriel Foley, your host from Berkeley, California, signing right out.